Good morning. Quick chat. I think I'll call this one something like knowing where you're at, working where you're at, knowing where you're at. I'll call it something like that. And this stems from a couple conversations this week and thoughts that I've already been having. But then this morning, I woke up at my lightest body weight for a little while, trying to drop some fat at the moment. If the weight stays the same, I'm pretty happy. But woke up the lightest I've been. And also this week, I feel I've eaten better, which helps with the weight loss or creates the weight loss. I'm excited to eat better. I've been training a little bit longer. I've been training more days. I picked up an extra day of training this week because I was just sitting around. Supposed to be a rest day, which suits my goals at the moment for the competition I've got coming up. Rest days are important. But I'm tanned, I'm losing weight, and I feel like moving my body, and I feel like eating well, and no dessert the last 2 days before bed. Sometimes at work I have these little balls with my coffee, 1 ball a day, a little treat that didn't have one yesterday, and it's just been so easy to not have it. It's been so easy to eat well. And has that created the weight loss? Or is the weight loss and coming to a healthier state making me want to use my body more? It makes me want to be outside. And I've experienced enough ups and downs now where I've been heavier, I've been unhealthy, and I've been healthy, and I've experienced the difference enough times, and I've noticed it in other people that it works both ways. I'm not saying it doesn't work both ways, but once you're healthier, which will often make you leaner, once you're healthier, these things like eating well, moving well, and living the way everyone says to live in order to lose weight, they become easy and enjoyable. And I wanted to share that with you. There are so many people that I would love to share this with, and I'll send it to people, but I hope they see this. If you're unhealthy, I've been there, okay? If you've got a lot of fat and a gut, that's often because you've overindulged in man-made things. You've been sitting around too much, indulging in food that's convenient and tastes amazing. You've been maybe watching movies, not moving. Maybe you're watching porn. You're just using all the man-made crap of this world that makes you feel good in the moment, and it comes at a cost. It is convenient, so you don't have to pay as much time. It is cheap and easy, but there is still a price, and the price is your health and your enjoyment of this place, this world. So what I want to suggest is, if you're going on a health kick, if you want to get leaner and or healthier and or just enjoy this place and your body and your life a little bit more, I'm going to suggest that you learn where you're at. You must know where you're at. And what I mean by that is, I imagine this world that there's threads above us that we can't see. I call them threads. A more familiar term that people might be familiar with would be vibrations and frequencies. Most people are aware of vibrations and frequencies. You need to be aware of which frequency you are at now in order to get to the one, I'm getting hot, sorry. In order to get where you want to get to, you need to know where you are at. You shouldn't aim to get up here. Let's say that up here is your ultimate level of health, high vibration, looking lean, feeling great. Let's say you want to get to here. You need to know where you're at. If you're down here, you need to know that, because you can't and shouldn't just jump to here. Let's assume that here is porn, fast food, doing nothing, feeling quite useless, and up here is exercising, living, eating well, and drawing all the great things in this world to come to you. If you just start doing this, all right, you hire a coach, someone like me tells you, you need to eat this way, you need to train 5 days a week or 4 days a week, whatever, this type of exercise, hour a day, blah, blah, blah. You might be able to do that for a week or two, but I have a feeling it feels shit for you. I think the food tastes average. Well, I know this to be true because I used to be a junk food addict. The food doesn't taste as good. There's nothing exciting about it. There's no good feeling. Once you inch your way closer to this, it starts to feel better. It actually gets easier. If you have to force yourself to train at the moment and you have to force yourself to eat good food, I promise you it won't feel like that forever. Now, learning where you're at is important because you have to be aware of how big this gap is. When you're down here, you might have to force a few training sessions. You might have to force a few reps or a few sets that you don't want to do. But you should be looking to do what feels good. You should be looking, where are you at? That's why it's important to know where you're at. You shouldn't be forcing too much. If If walking feels good for you, you should be walking. If training 2 or 3 times feels good for you, then you should do that, because that's where you're at. If you try and bridge too much of this gap, it's just too much of a leap. It feels crap. You're surviving on willpower rather than what you should be doing. And your body knows what you should be doing. You need to learn how to tap in. There's a bit of a skill to it, but the answers are already within you with what you should be eating and how much you should be training. And it will change. It will actually get easier, but it will change as in it's time to start eating healthier and you'll start seeing more results. It's time to start training more, training harder, and it will be easy because once you've got more muscle, your muscles want to be used. And that's what I'm finding at the moment. I'm leaner this week, I'm healthier and browner, and I can't wait to get outside. I haven't been having as much soft drink. I haven't felt the need for a soft drink. No dessert, just less stuff, and like wanting it, and it tastes great. More veggies. I haven't had veggies in a year. That last bulk that I went on to get stronger, same thing. I had to force a little bit at the start. I wasn't hungry. I wasn't feeling it. Forced the rest days, forced myself to have time off. And then after a while, training 3 or 4 days a week for an hour or less each time was amazing. I felt so good. I felt strong and powerful. The rest days were easy to take. I didn't feel like training, and my weight went up and my strength went up. So it suited my goals. And now the reverse is true. I'm trying to lose weight, and at the start it was hard to not have dessert. I was used to having 6 Weet-Bix with heaps of sugar and milk before bed every night and every morning. So I replaced that with honey on toast, and went from 2 pieces down to 1 piece, down to fruit at night, down to a hot chocolate salt. Literally just having a salt drink at night as my dessert at the moment. Sleeping fine, no addictions. You know, people ask me just this week, how do I cure cravings for this and how do I cure cravings for this? And it just made me realize, like, I don't get those cravings. I don't get it, but I think it's because I'm here, not above you, but I'm not putting myself above anyone. But, you know, I was here, now I am here, and things are easier. So I wanted to share that with you. Try not to force things too much. You have to know where you're at. If you're just starting this journey, just start inching your way towards here. Let's use frequencies, for example. Let's say you're on a red wavelength and you want to get to gold as arbitrary colors, right? Let's say gold's up here to you, and there probably is measurements for this, but I don't know it. Let's say red, you're around red, and you want to start experiencing these things that are up with gold, which is more vitality, life, better memory. You have more, it's easier to learn information, that's all I'll say. If you just jump straight there, I just said this before, didn't I? If you jump straight there, it's just, you're surviving on willpower, okay? So just inch your way closer. I want to be the type of person that enjoys good food, enjoys moving, and enjoys living life. Just slowly get your way there by listening to your body. I really think I'm onto something with this. I was already wondering why the 10,000 steps a day, when people say, should get 10,000 steps a day. When you're healthy, that is so easy because you feel like moving. When you're unhealthy, that's a chore and it feels negative for the body. Training hard feels negative for the body because it's a stress. And if you're constantly working against where you're at, working against the signals your body is giving you, that's the opposite of what we want to do. You want to be living your life, right? You want to be up here in gold, living true to yourself. Yet here you are listening to advice from other people saying you need to eat this way, you need to live this way. You're already disobeying yourself. You're off to a bad start. Learn where you're at. Learn where you're vibrating from or what thread you're on right now, and just move your way closer. You'll learn that once you're up here, you're the same pleb that you've always been. It doesn't change too much, but your response to things is a lot better, and I start noticing the good parts of life. I notice them when I'm up here. When I'm down here, you don't notice the good parts of life. You really just focus on the bad stuff. What other analogies can I get? You have to know what animal you are in the jungle. I've already thought of this morning. You need to know what animal you are. If you want to take over the world and you think you're a lion, you're going to go up to other lions and fight them. You need to know that you're a monkey and that you shouldn't do that. You need to know if you're a monkey or a lion or something in between, because that will dictate your battles. That will dictate what you do in this life. So for some people, protein powder might be amazing. This is another way that I can make sense of these studies that come out. They study 3 We studied 30 men between the ages of 30 and 35, and I'm like, you might as well put some penguins and monkeys in there, because just because they're all male, just because they're all 30 to 35, doesn't mean that you're studying the same people. Cal's distracted me. Doesn't mean that they're on the same wavelength, that they're on the same thread or frequency. So you've got major differences. So I've been distracted. Where was I going with that? Yeah, the jungle one. You need to know what animal you are, and that will dictate what decisions you make. Cal distracted me. I'm sorry. Anyway, I just thought I would share that, because I'm hoping that'll help people that want to become healthier, that take this big jump and start doing things that the healthy people are doing, thinking that it's just a matter of willpower. And I'm just coming to learn more and more often that it is not willpower. So work with where you're at. Protein powder, that's what I was saying. For some, you know, they say that protein powder works and protein powder is good, and it is just garbage for me. It doesn't do anything for me, and I can't make sense of how it would. But that doesn't mean that if you're down here compared to you, this is you up here, not me. If you're here, then maybe protein powder is doing something, because protein powder vibrates here, let's say. You're here, or even below the camera, you're so far gone, you're just so unhealthy, you've been indulging in man-made crap for years, totally fine, that's okay, forgive yourself. And you want to get up here. Well, protein powder or any supplement might still bring you up from where you're at. But once you get to here and surpass it, you need to change. You can't keep having these things below you. They just have no effect. So that's another way to make sense of these studies that come out saying that this worked, no it didn't, or it worked for these people, no it didn't. So if you feel like going vegan or vegetarian, that could be good for you for now, but just be ready to bail. Carnivore, to use the other extreme, keto, whatever you feel like doing, if you're listening to your body and your body's telling you to do it, then you have to listen to it and just listen to the feedback and be ready to bail and change on that when necessary. The amount of protein you eat, the type of foods you eat, the people you associate with, all these things are going to change along the way as you raise your frequency, raise your vibration, whatever. I call it changing threads. I like to imagine these different timelines and different threads that exist. I'll try to keep this to another minute or less. I hope I've summed it up okay. I'm going to send this to my clients that ask lots of questions. I don't know how to teach it, but that is possible to listen to the answers and cues that are within your body. It is possible. I know how to do it. I do not know how to teach it yet. It is so simple to me that I'm sure I will figure out a way to teach it, but either things feel good or things feel bad. If something is natural, made by God or created, and it feels good, then go do it. If it's man-made and it feels good, it often is going to be something that you shouldn't indulge in too much. That's literally the way I look at it. If something feels good and it's natural, I will keep doing that. Exercise, natural foods, conversations, making these videos, this makes me feel good, so it must be for something. I do not care if this gets 13 views or 13,000 views. It feels good just to speak. I like speaking. Anyway, I hope this helps. Bottom line, learn where you're at and work with what you've got. You need to train and eat in a way that suits where you're at, and you need to be aware of the gap between where you're at and where you think you want to be, because where you think you want to be is different from where you're going to end up. Be aware of this gap and just slowly aim to fill it in and be willing to change. Look to get healthier as you get healthier. Don't try and be the ultimate level of health right now. It will just work against you. You will be surviving on willpower alone, which isn't enough. Hope this helps. I wanted to keep this under 15 minutes, and I did. I'm a legend. All right, see you all.